Hello gorgeous peeps, I'm Chris from TechSpert, and today we're going to be checking out a super affordable Xiaomi smartwatch. It's actually from one of Xiaomi's sub-brands. This is the YouPin Mibro X1. The Mibro Watch X1 currently costs under 50 quid from retailer AliExpress, and yet despite this it boasts an AMOLED screen. You've got lots of fitness tracking features, the 24-hour heart rate tracking, all that good stuff, and surprisingly good battery life too. But it's not all glitter and sunshine, of course. You do have to take the rough with the smooth as far as budget smartwatches go, and the YouPin Mibro X1 watch is no exception. So this is a full-on tour and review anyway, and for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So first off, actually setting up the Mibro Watch X1 is an absolute piece of piddle. All you got to do is download the Mibro Fit app. This is supported by Android and iOS, so just download from the usual app store. You've got to sign in or get registered with an account, and then the two will pair up in a minute or so. Super easy. My Mibro watch did have to perform a couple of updates when I first got it all set up. I did have some issues with it disconnecting from my smartphone as well, but that seemed to have cleared up after about 24 hours, and touch wood, the two have stayed paired up absolutely fine since then. And we'll come back and take another in-depth look at Mibro Fit in a bit, because this is basically how you control a lot of stuff on your smartwatch. But for now, let's check out the design. So the YouPin Mibro Watch X1 is primarily constructed from ABS polycarbonate with a silicone strap attached as well. It does feel very budgety, that's for sure. It is quite lightweight, just 52 grams including the strap and all. Not the skinniest chap around though, at 11.4 millimeters thick, so certainly not the worst I've encountered, but yeah, not exactly skinny. The screen isn't level with the surface of the watch. It is sunk beneath the bezel, as you can see there, so that should afford some protection at least if you happen to smack your arm off a wall or something like that, which may sound slightly ridiculous, but it seems to happen to me a lot, partly because I flail my arms around a lot and partly because I like my alcohols. And so far the watch itself seems perfectly rugged as well. I have bashed it about a bit, tread it with basically zero respect whatsoever, and so far no scratches or scuffs or anything to speak of. And the design itself is very straightforward, quite reminiscent of a lot of other budget smartphones. As you can see, you've got two physical buttons here on the right edge. You've got a home button, which helps to wake up the smartwatch and also takes you to your main list of apps. And you've also got the sport button beneath it, which takes you straight into the exercise tracking. Although you can actually remap that button to perform a different function, so it's not necessarily just sport. You can get it to open up a different fitness feature, otherwise pretty much any other app on here, like the music player, the timer, the stopwatch. And the Mibro Watch X1 is also water resistant to 5 atmospheres as well, so you can take it swimming, you can rock it in the shower, whatever you fancy. So one of the fanciest features here on the Mibro Watch X1 is the fact that it's rocking an AMOLED display, which is quite rare for a budget smartwatch. It's a 1.3 inch, so a respectable size. And no, it's certainly not one of the sharpest screens around, but it's not hideously pixelated either, even quite small fonts are legible. And the main benefit to that OLED tech is the fact that it is quite colourful, quite punchy, so definitely those more vivid colours really shine on this screen. You've got nice deep blacks as well. And the fact that large sections of the screen can effectively just disable themselves in order to create that black effect helps to preserve the battery life as well, which is especially good if you are using the always on display feature. Although the always on display is decidedly cack, because you can only actually enable it for up to 20 minutes at a time, at which point it just disables itself, so you have to keep on enabling it, which kind of renders it pointless. You've got a handful of display settings that you can mess around with inside of the actual smartwatch settings, which can be called up at any point, by the way, just by swiping down like so, and then tapping this little cog menu. So for instance, you've got the old raise to wake, you've got that always on, which is just not very good at all. You can also play around with the brightness. Unfortunately, there's no auto brightness here on the Mibro Watch X1, so you'll have to manually tweak it every time you want to lower it or raise it, which is rather annoying. The good news at least is that it does go pretty high, so if you are going to be outdoors a lot, you'll have no troubles with visibility, and the actual viewing angles and everything are absolutely fine. And you do at least have fast access to the brightness from the main pull down menu here. Just tap there and you're straight into it, so that's something. Now you may have noticed, as usual, I'm rocking a geeky anime background here on the Mibro Watch X1. That's actually a custom watch face that I created via that Mibro Fit app. All you got to do is go to the equipment tab and then go to custom watch face, and you can craft your own, either from a photo you've taken yourself or a photo that you've downloaded. So let's just create another geeky anime effort. And this bit of Blue Peter shindiggery is fairly straightforward. You choose the background, you choose the color of the actual font, and you can choose the position as well, so top, middle, or bottom. And that's basically it. Hit installation and your watch face will be uploaded in a couple of minutes. Otherwise, if you can't be bothered with any of that, just go back into the Mibro Fit app, go to the dial market this time, and you can choose from a reasonable selection of stuff that's been created by people who aren't quite as lazy as you. And I've got to say, the selection in here is absolutely wild. Some of these watch faces are just so utterly bonkers, they kind of beg a belief. Quite a decent variety, that's for sure, between analog and digital. Got some Disney efforts, which I'm sure are officially sanctioned, of course. This one right here is definitely one of my favorites. It appears to be a pork chop running the 100 meters dash. I can't really explain it, and I guess that's part of its charm. Otherwise, if you prefer sweaty chips, that is also an option. But my ultimate favorite 100% has to be this one here, partly because it's so utterly disturbing, and partly because it looks like it was designed by a 4-year-old. I'm not really sure what the hell is going on, why this guy here appears to be so happy about being kung fu kicked in the face, why indeed this guy is kung fu kicking this person in the face in order to get them to tell you what the time is. And then to make it even more disturbing, is this actually a guy kung fu kicking his girlfriend slash wife, just based purely on the clothes because there's no other defining features? I don't know what's going on. These are all questions I will certainly take to my grave. But anyway, there's something to suit pretty much any kind of taste out there. If you want something a bit smarter or just something a little bit colourful and jazzy, there's plenty of options in there, stuff for kids as well. And you've got all the other standard features you would expect here in the Mibro Watch X1's settings. So for instance, you can dive into notifications and setup so you do get pinged on your watch whenever something trickles in from the likes of Gmail, Facebook Messenger, Skype. Unfortunately, not all applications are supported, so I don't get notifications when I get something from my Zoho mail app, for instance, which is slightly annoying. And the actual notifications, when they pop up on your watch, very basic. You just get a very brief overview, and there's nothing you can actually do to interact with it. You can't reply, delete, anything like that. You've also got some other settings and features you can play around with here in Mibro Fit, but the majority of these you can also just interact directly with via the watch. Now the actual smartwatch UI here on the Mibro Watch X1, very straightforward and intuitive to anyone who's had a smartwatch before. You can access various widgets by flicking this way, including your heart rate measurements. You've got a weather app which tells you that you're going to get rained on yet again because it's winter in the UK. You've got your various fitness stats. You can add a couple of other bits as well, although there's not much to speak of. You've got like media controls, the usual SPO2 shenanigans, and of course you've got sleep tracking here on the Mibro Watch X1 as well, which just tells you the quality of your sleep, which not 100% accurate, gotta say. I certainly didn't get 8 hours and 23 minutes worth, that's for damn sure. It was closer to about 7 hours, but I was kind of lying prone in bed just watching YouTube for a bit, so that's probably what's thrown it. But the likes of the heart rate tracking seems just as accurate as any other budget smartwatch that I've tested. It tends to elevate quite significantly when I'm shooting these videos for some reason and be fairly calm the rest of the time. Alternatively, if you just want a brief overview of everything, you can just flick this way and this will tell you what the weather's going to be like, what your current heart rate is and SPO2 level, and it gives you fast access to those health stats again. As for the sports tracking, well, it's fairly basic stuff, but you do have 38 different sports modes, so pretty much everything, all the basic stuff is covered off, including swimming as well if you do a bit of that. And there is a free training mode as well if your chosen activity isn't covered off here, and it's pretty basic stuff. Again, it tells you how long you've been working out for, what your current heart rate is, a rough guidance of how many calories you may have burnt. You can access your media controls quickly and easily with a swipe this way. I say quickly and easily, sometimes it takes a couple of swipes because the screen responsiveness ain't fantastic on this thing, as you may have noticed. And the media controls do seem to work absolutely fine for streaming services like Spotify and Deezer. They allow you to pause the music, skip a track if you want, and you can change up the volume as well. And then when you're done, just swipe this away and hit that big X and you're done. And unlike more premium smartwatches like the Apple Watch and Wear OS watches, for instance, you can't expand the number of apps on here, but you've got a few helpful ones stuck away on there by default anyway. So you've got likes of a calculator, a timer. You do have a Find Phone as well, which just basically makes your phone make a horrible rackety noise until you locate it. Of course, those music controls, and you've got the usual breathe and stress relief stuff as well, just to help calm you down when you're wigging out a bit. Although the breathe and exercise app does cause the watch to vibrate quite violently when you have to inhale. which is anything but particularly relaxing. And the battery life here on the Mibro Watch X1 is pretty good as well. Like a lot of budget smartwatches, not quite as good as the promised 2 weeks of regular use between charges. I find it's actually closer to 1 week, but still not bad at all. If you're going to be going away regularly away from home on little trips or whatever, then at least you don't have to be lugging the charger with you. And if you don't mind just literally using it as a watch, then there is a basic mode on here as well, which just bump it right up to over a month of battery life. They reckon 60 days. So there you have it. That right there is the Xiaomi YouPin Mibro Watch X1 in a nutshell. So as I say, under 50 quid from the likes of AliExpress right now. And if you're looking for a budget smartwatch with a nice punchy screen, then this will certainly do the job. You know, you've got to take the rough with the smooth. As I said before, sometimes the screen responsiveness isn't fantastic, but I mean, it's worth it alone just for this bloody smartwatch face right here. So anyway, for more on the latest and greatest tech and also random smartwatches, please do poke, subscribe and ding that notifications bell, and have yourselves a bloody fantastic rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you.